Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the GSFC conference call to discuss the Q1 FY22-23 financial performance. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be no opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal the operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Nitesh Bagela from Anurag Services LLP. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the first quarter earnings conference call of Gujarat State Fertilizers and Chemicals Limited, hosted by Anurag Services LLP. From the management, we have Mr. B.D. Nanavati, Executive Director Finance and CFO, and Mr. Vishweswacha Rajani, Company Secretary and Senior Vice President Legal. I would like to thank the management for giving us the opportunity to host this call. We will begin the call with opening remarks from the management, post which we will have a question and answer session. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to all the participants for the GSFC Q1 post-result Concall. You must have all studied and seen the good results declared by the company, and the volume performance has been uploaded on our website, which you can see for the product-wise numbers. As you know, the quarter was good financially, though there were some hiccups in the production of fertilizers at Security due to rising price of all type of input cost, phosphate, ammonia, sulfur, and so the production were off and on at Security during the quarter. However, Baroda unit consistently had regular and normal production. In fact, we had shut down a few plants in the last Q1, which was not there, so you will see the higher production of Baroda products in fertilizer as well as in chemical segment. Last year, methanol price were very remunerative as compared to natural gas price, so we had some production and sale of methanol, but thereafter, as you know, gas prices have gone up substantially high, but methanol prices have not risen commensurately, so methanol plant was also stopped in the later part of 21-22. Recently we had, you might have noticed, some short shutdown in urea plant because of some equipment failure, which we are correcting, and shortly it will be restarted. As far as the revenue is concerned, due to high natural gas price, the urea subsidy went up substantially high based on the pass-through formula. So urea prices also went up. Similarly, government declared good subsidy for P&K fertilizers also. So on the back of rising subsidy, the realization in fertilizers went up substantially high, and government has tried to see that farmers are not impacted by the rising input cost and the fertilizer prices. So MRP is hardly increased compared to last year, and most of the input cost has been absorbed by the higher subsidies supported by Government of India. Otherwise, all the raw materials were at considerably high level in Q1. Benzene, naphtha, natural gas, sulfur, ammonia, rock phosphate, all were up compared to Q1 of last year. But of course, now prices have started to soften. So, as you can see in the chemical segment, the realizations are down compared to last year, and some of the input costs are also coming down, like sulfur in particular have come down substantially, and ammonia is also has reduced a little bit in line with the crude prices. Fertilizer performance, as you can see, it was very, very good or abnormally high. There is some element of one-time income in that, because when the subsidies are increased from one quarter to other, with the cut-off year coming, so everything that is sold through POS gets higher subsidy, and one-time impact is immediately seen in such a situation. So that is seen here in the fertilizer results. IP margins were down, but it has started increasing from August. And for caprobenzene, we expect $1,000 spread to be maintained on an average basis throughout the year. As you know, government has substantially provided for subsidy support of more than 2 trillion Indian rupees, and accordingly, government is releasing the subsidy. We have almost received full subsidy of urea for the month up to the month of June, and for Sika, DAP, and also almost third week of June has been covered by the subsidy payment. So, as promised by government and as supported by budgetary support, the subsidy cash flow has been maintained like recent past. As we said during the financial year ending Concall, we see at least 25% rise in the revenue during the year, mainly added by both the segments, and with the different projects that we discussed last time on hand, GSFC will keep growing. So we request all of you to keep your interest in GSFC year over year, and that's with this I will conclude my short overview of the quarter. Thank you.
Should we open up for questions?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin with the question and answer session. Anyone wishing to ask a question may please press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of A.M. Lodha from Sanmati Consultants. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Nanavati sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, good afternoon. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Sir, congratulations for good set of numbers. Sir, I have 2 queries. First, one is for fertilizer division, another is for chemical division. I am coming to the number 1 fertilizer division, sir. The sales in the year-on-year quarter 1 of the last year was 1,267 crore, and the quarter 1 of this year is sale is 2,322 crore. Whereas the EBITDA has gone up from 8,500 crore to 500 crore. Can you just put some light on this? What may be the reason of this extraordinary jump in the EBITDA, and can it be continued for the rest of the 9 months?
Yeah, so these numbers are, as you know, they are eye-catching compared to the jump it is showing. Yes, as I said, because of rising subsidy, the turnover as well as profitability has increased. And there is, as I said, one-time effect also for some parts, because as you may be knowing, subsidy is paid on the basis of point of sales, terminal sales that happens at the retailer level when farmer actually buys the fertilizer.
Yes.
So the subsidy claim with Government of India is lodged when the farmer buys the fertilizer. So whatever we have physically, it's a long chain, as you may be knowing, that fertilizer companies will be selling to dealer, dealer will be selling to retailer, retailer will be selling to farmer. So there is a time lag between when a company like a factory makes sales and when actually post sale happens. So in between, if there is a change in subsidy, then post sale subsidy rate are taken as per the subsidy calculation and payment. So suppose something I have sold it in say March 22, but actually farmer buys it in June 22, and in between the subsidy rate changes, like DAP last year rate was 33,000, this year it is 50,000. So immediately anyone who sells DAP like this gets 17,000 rupees per ton more. So like this, in all the PNK fertilizers, the subsidies have been increased substantially. So when this type of situation arises, there is a higher collection of subsidy. And as I explained, suppose something is sold by the factory in March, say DAP, then DAP revenue is booked as per 33,000 subsidy. But when we are entitled to say 50,000 subsidy, immediately 17,000 extra is booked as a revenue as well as it goes in the profit. So that is how the 85 crore goes up to 500 crore.
Can you put some light on the remaining 9 months? Can we expect good performance? Which is the peak quarter for us? Second quarter?
Yeah, second quarter it is a rainy season, second and third, because in third quarter also for Rabi crop, the farmer buys the fertilizer up to say mid of December or end of November kind of thing. So second and third quarters are good.
You mean to say that second quarter and third quarter will be better than so far sales are concerned in quantity one it will be better.
Yeah,
compared to first quarter.
If we remove the one-time effect, it will be like what you say. Barring one-time effect, it will be good quarter.
Okay, sir. Regarding chemical division, sir, then again sales in the quarter a year ago was 500 crore. And in this quarter it is 738 crore. The sales have not decreased, whereas the profit from 96 a year ago in the June quarter last year, it has came down to 31 crore only.
Right. So as the input costs have gone up, like crude prices, as you know, went up substantially above $100 and up to $115 or $120.
Yes, sir.
With this crude price, all the crude derivatives price don't increase like we buy benzene, which is made out of crude. But benzene prices goes up, but caprolactam price don't go up so high. So there is a pressure on the margin. So natural gas, ammonia, crude, benzene, sulfur, these inputs have gone up substantially with not supporting rise in our finished good prices. So this pressure on margin is there, but as I said, some improvements we see going forward in this.
Sir, my last question is pertaining to this regarding investors. As I am an investor, I am a shareholder of the company. As an investor, I expect that our company is 10,000 crore, 9 to 10,000 crore company. It is a neat and clean and it is Navratna of the state government of Gujarat. और हमारे मोदी साहब तो बोलते हैं सबका साथ सबका विकास, लेकिन आप लोग जीएसएफसी का मैनेजमेंट तो सबका साथ सबका विकास में बिलीव नहीं करते सर. आपने आपका जो पे आउट था लास्ट ईयर, आपने उस पे आउट को रिड्यूस कर दिया, आपने पे आउट आपका 21%, उसको आपने 11% कर दिया आपने।
हाँ, तो क्योंकि वी बिलीव इन कंसिस्टेंट डिविडेंड, तो वन टाइम प्रॉफिट होता है तो डांट देने का, फिर बोलने का कि अभी तो नहीं हुआ तो नहीं मिलेगा, तो दैट पॉलिसी वी डोंट बिलीव. So we want to maintain consistency in dividend, so that even in lean years we don't have to beg pardon from shareholder for lower dividend. Or
बोलिए सर.
Then you will reap through new projects and good performance aided by good share price. So that will be the real growth for the shareholder, monetary.
But sir, my point of view is this: your EPS was 10 rupees in March 21, and the EPS gone to 22 rupees in March 22, and your payout was at that time payout was 21%, which is reduced to 11%. Consistency doesn't meet your out. Companies are debt-free companies, sir, and we don't have that much of expansion that you have to borrow the money from the outsiders. So at least shareholder number one. Number two, sir, no presentation, no press release, nothing else. What type of a company, how that this 10,000 crore company of the Navratna of the Gujarat government is being managed by the bureaucrats, sir? We fail to understand. That's my point of view. You just give a message to your chairman, CMD, whoever there is there. The shareholders are requesting for the consistently press release and presentation. Without press release and without presentation, we are in dark. We cannot ask you any questions, sir.
Yes. We will convey our feelings to the board about rise in dividend expected.
Thank you very much.
By nature, we are a very conservative company, so we don't. We are.
Sir, my request is time has changed, and we should be also change with the changing of the time, sir.
Correct.
Not that when we are earning the 22 rupees, we are distributing only 2 rupees 50 paisa. We should have given the 5 rupees dividend. Plus, you will be getting the dividend from GNFC, other company where the investment is, you are the grandfather of the other Gujarat government promoted companies, sir. Then you will be getting a handsome dividend this year also. So that is our viewpoint. Kindly convey our grievances to the board and from a shareholder, as a shareholder, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankur Sanwal, an investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I would like to know the time frame of execution of various expansion projects which we are undertaking.
Yeah, so right now, as we discussed last time, sulfuric acid fifth plant is under implementation, so that is likely to be completed in 24, early 24. And then we have ammonium sulfate fourth plant that is expected by December 23. Then we have HX crystal plant that is also expected by December 23. Then we have this, we are setting up solar power plant 15 megawatt that is also expected by middle of June 23 next year. And then we have various project proposal on hand which are under different stages of discussion and deliberation. So right now timelines for that is difficult to give, but these are all what I said is under implementation. So already work is going on.
So what kind of sales realization can we have from sulfuric acid and ammonium sulfate after they are executed, and will the production will be used in-house or will also sell outside?
Sulfuric acid will be for our in-house consumption, that is to support ammonium sulfate. So as the word says, ammonium sulfate, so sulfuric acid is a part of ammonium sulfate. So that will be in-house. And ammonium sulfate that will be sold. We already have 3 plants working. So that will bring around turnover of around 400 to 500 crore rupees. HX Crystal will bring turnover of around 125 crore rupees. And of course, solar is for saving the power cost. So right now, these are the numbers for turnover.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Namaskar, Saab, for this opportunity. Sir, firstly about the industrial product margins part. So currently, sir, what is the outlook for the current month, and how are the price trends being? If you could give some more color on how IP margins will fare for the coming month.
Yeah, so as I said, Capro benzene spread on an average we expect to be $1,000. Sometimes it may go up, sometimes it may go down. But on an average we expect it to be in that range. And melamine, as we saw, the prices have reduced in the domestic market. We are trying to sell more melamine in European market to export. So that way we are trying to increase the realization. Nylon 6 is being sold locally, in India only. So price keeps fluctuating. So these are the major industrial products which form part of the majority of the margin. But on overall basis, it will be considering the crude prices and the natural gas prices, which are unprecedented, and they are driven by something else like a huge European demand because of the Russian embargo on their gas and all these things. So this input price keeps increasing, but then there is no corresponding rise in our industrial product prices. So I think this year will be the year for fertilizer support to the profit in large way. We can say overall like this.
So do we have any seasonality factors for IP sales also? Just to if we look at the volume data, are the volume data for the preceding quarter, quarter 4 of 21-22, comparable with what we did for quarter 1? Therein, sir, we find that volume for melamine and nylon 6 have gone down considerably from 8,400 tons to 6,700. So,
there is nothing like seasonality.
Okay.
But the whole economy, not only Indian economy, the whole world economies are affected by the high inflation, and the central banks are increasing the interest rates, so growth and doing new business with borrowing is becoming unattractive. So it is impacting the economies world over. So India is also impacted. So sometimes the volumes come down, but there is no long-term effect or like this. It will pick up. And as I said, when we don't, when say like melamine, Europe is facing the highest gas price recently. So with those kind of gas price, melamine is not viable. So few plants are shutting down in Europe. So there we will be selling our melamine because China is dumping a lot of melamine in India. So we will be selling out of India. So, but this kind of changing the gear sometimes take time to show the effect. So it will pick up. There is no volume problem in IP.
And sir, about the backward integration part, where are we in midst of the capex which we were emphasizing earlier? for backward integration, I think so, for this rock phosphate to the forward integration. So, and also about the right issue, sir, application we have done for a company, I think so, some 31 crores. So, if on that point you could explain what are the benefits that we have derived as of now? I think so we hold a considerable stake in the company. So, is there any offtake agreement? क्या benefits हैं और आगे कैसा देख रहे हैं?
Right. So that what you are talking is about the potash. So you may be knowing that India is 100% dependent on imports for potash. There is no local source of potash, and potash is a primary nutrient, NPK. So this is the basic nutrient required for fertilizers. So since we don't have any source in India, in the interest of the whole of the country, we invested in that Canada, which is having the highest potash reserves in the world, and they are a democratic country, and they are much higher in the ease of doing business all over the world. They are in the first 5 countries in the ease of doing. So unlike Russia, no, even if you have mine, you cannot do anything if you have stake in Russia. So considering all this, we invested in kernelite resources for potash, and we have offtake agreement for 350,000 tons of potash from the first phase with some discount. And these are the potash mines. So the mines last for many, many years, maybe say 70 years, 200 years. So initially some problems do come before start of the mine, but when it starts, then you have long-term benefits available. So we expect that with good potash prices prevailing, that viability of that mine will improve, and we'll have some partners joining hands there for starting the project. So we expect some result in, say, around 6 months, maybe by March 23, some progress in this matter should occur.
Sir, currently these are non-operational?
Yeah, these are.
The inset is completely non-operational.
Right. Right now it is non-operational. Only whatever environment clearance, production clearance, effluent, these that means all the permits and everything is in place. So with good potash prices, we are awaiting for finance tie-up.
Okay, so because just dwelling more and then 2 more questions. So in 2013, as per your release, we have made the first tranche of investment. So from 2013 to 2022, 8-9 साल के लिए, it has not yielded anything for us. And now it is the time when they will start with this rights issue. They would be able to do the mining activities, and then the offtake will come. Is this the story, sir?
Yeah. Some more fund will be required, because if you see from 2013 to 2021, potash prices were highly subdued. So right now it is $590 in India, but last year it was $280. So before that it was $221. So with this kind of price, no mine can work. It is a very low price.
Right. Even in the mix for the fertilizer part, we find that the DAP sales were the highest for this quarter, 700, I think so. 700 crores worth of sales are there. So it forms the raw material there, sir, for the DAP.
हाँ, तो नहीं, आपका क्वेश्चन क्या है, समझा नहीं मैं.
What I was saying that for this इस क्वार्टर में से DAP की सेल्स का इंक्रीज होने का कारण क्या है? It has gone up from, I think so, क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर के बेसिस में ये मिक्स आपका फ्रॉम 50 करोड़ से 700 करोड़ हुआ है. एंड इसका रॉ मटेरियल में क्या आपका ये रॉक फॉस्फेट आता है? सर प्लीज करेक्ट मी है.
नहीं, ये तो मैंने बोला ना कि DAP एक तो सब्सिडी बढ़ गई, तो इसका इम्पैक्ट है. और दूसरा, we have sold some DAP which was produced last year in this year, so DAP sales is more. मगर वो जो सिक्का में प्लांट प्रोजेक्ट करना है रॉक फॉस्फेट लेके, that discussion is going on, that work is going on. So when we will award the contract, we will announce it. So that will make a huge difference in overall turnover and profitability.
So two small points and then I'll come in the queue. First point is about the capital allocation policy for the company. As you have told that about the dividend part, we are believing more on the absolute number rather than the profitability metrics. We have just one of the earlier learned participant has mentioned, and I second his view. But anyway, that is the board call, and investors' points should also be put on place. Coming to your the raw material basket, sir, अभी कैसे shape up हो रहा है? Kindly throw some more light on the same. And then coming to this volume data part, sir, this volume data which have been uploaded on the website was uploaded today. I think so 2-3 days post the numbers. So we'd request that volume data to be a part of our numbers, so that we get all investors get the benefit of reading it rather than looking at the website when the same are uploaded. And also a request not to remove the previous data, so that we can compare the same on how the last quarter numbers have been. These are two requests. And sir, lastly, on the investor presentation and press release, sir, kindly look into the aspects, sir. Companies like, I've been naming them, GNFC, Gujarat Alkali, everybody is coming up with the presentation. None of them are non-conservative या कोई aggressive companies हैं. सभी conservative हैं, सभी एक ही fold के part हैं. तो हम अलग-अलग क्यों चल रहे हैं? कुछ तो रीजन है सर जिसमें हमको अडॉप्ट करने में परेशानी हो रही है. उसे अगर इन्वेस्टर्स के संग भी डिस्कस किया जाए और इम्प्लीमेंट करने में कहाँ असुविधाएं हैं बताई जाए, तो सर हम लोग ये क्वेश्चंस अपना करना, फिर वी शुड गेट अ प्रॉपर आंसर सर. रादर माय शॉर्ट पॉइंट इज we should get a proper answer. Conservative or aggressive should not be the barometer to decide whether investor presentation and press release is to be a part. अब आप रॉ मटेरियल पे सर समझा दीजिए कि रॉ मटेरियल बास्केट अभी कैसे शेप हो रही है, एंड गोइंग फॉरवर्ड सर ये बेस दिखता है इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्ट्स के प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी का कि मार्जिन इससे भी लोअर आगे आ सकती है सर?
नहीं, इससे तो लोअर नहीं आएगी, उससे तो बढ़ेगी. तो रॉ मटेरियल में काफी, जैसे क्रूड भी सॉफ्ट हो रहा है तो सल्फर भी काफी सॉफ्ट हुआ है अब फ्रॉम अगस्त. और अदरवाइज for Q1, Q2 phosphate price has been increased from 1530 to 1715. तो वो तो सितंबर तक यही रहने वाला है. एमोनिया थोड़ा कम होता है मगर बहुत ज़्यादा कम नहीं हो रहा है, बिकॉज यूरोप वांट सो मच ऑफ गैस. तो एमोनिया का रॉ मटेरियल तो गैस ही है, तो गैस की डिमांड बहुत है, तो एमोनिया का कॉस्ट भी बढ़ जाता है, इम्पोर्टेड एमोनिया का पर्टिकुलरली. और रॉक फॉस्फेट के भाव भी कम नहीं हो रहे हैं. तो आई थिंक बेंजीन एज ए सेड फ्लक्चुएट्स, प्लस माइनस होता रहता है, और सल्फर कम हुआ है. उसके अलावा कोई प्राइस ज़्यादातर कम नहीं हुए हैं रॉ मटेरियल में.
तो सर ये एब्सोल्यूट नंबर बता पाएंगे? मैडम सर का एक पॉइंट है जिसको बस बोल के मैं डिस्कनेक्ट करूंगा.
There are participants waiting for their turn.
ठीक है मैडम, धन्यवाद.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Falguni Datta from Jet 8 Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Sorry, madam, for not taking your calls, but
not a problem, sir. Not a problem.
Apologies from me also.
No problem, sir. Sir, I just had two questions. One is on this fertilizer profits that you said that they are higher because they contain that higher subsidy due to later on post sales. So, sir, will you be able to quantify that amount? Any broadly, how much what would be the impact of that? And the old
150 crore.
150 crore.
Correct.
And sir, secondly on this, I just missed your answer. Phos acid price in Q1 you said was $15.30.
Yes.
And Q2 is
Q1, not Q1, Q4, sorry.
Q4.
Correct.
Okay. And Q1, how much was it?
1715.
Okay. And Q2, has it been finalized?
Yeah, it is same for Q2 also.
Okay. And ammonia price, if you can tell me, the current one? Current
Yeah, it's between $900 to $1,000.
And what is
imported ammonia?
Sorry?
Imported ammonia price.
Imported ammonia. And sir, how much of imported ammonia do we use?
That is mainly used as Sika unit.
Okay.
Here we get natural gas, and from their gas we have ammonia plants, so we make our own ammonia. But our product costing is not revealed except on segment basis.
No, like broadly of your total ammonia requirement, how much would be imported?
No, Baroda is a totally captive production, and Sika is totally imported. So Sika maybe 1 to 2 lakh metric ton we bring, depending upon the cost economics of running Sika plant.
Okay. And sir, can you just tell me about the current, this is the last question, the current DAP realization and current subsidy?
Current subsidy is 50,000 rupees and realization is 26,000 rupees. I mean,
Sir.
to
Yes,
realize was
realization is 26,000 a ton.
correct, and subsidy is 50,000.
Okay. And sir, broadly, how are you seeing the demand this season?
Rainfall all over, demand is going to be there. So
Okay.
good demand will be there like any year.
So we see broadly the fertilizer volumes will be same or higher?
I think with Sika unit economics changing with input cost prices, I think volumes will be compared to almost like last year.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ganeet Singh from CCIPL. Please go ahead.
Hi. So my question is regarding the margins. If we look at the margins for the last 2 quarters, they have been around 21 and 18%. But for the previous quarters before them, margins have been hovering between 10% to 15%. And also, if we look at the yearly margins, the margins have suddenly improved from around 9 to 10% before 2021, and after 2021 for the year FY22, and for the trailing 12 months, the margins are around 15 to 16%. So I would like to know whether we can continue the margins that we are seeing right now, around 18 to 20%, for the coming quarters and the coming years, and what can be the steady state margin that we can expect. And I also want to know the main reason for this increase in margins that we saw in FY22.
Yeah, so margin, because there are broad 2 segments, fertilizers and industrial products. So as a steady state, we can say that fertilizer will fetch around 5% and chemicals between 10 to 15%. That is a normal margin. Of course, fertilizer is showing abnormal margin this time, but this is not a steady state margin, we can say. So this is mainly because of higher subsidy declared by government and the GSFC being efficient unit, while subsidies are fixed, considering all the players in the field. So those who are efficient, they get disproportionate benefit. So that is what is seen in this quarter fertilizer margin. So this is broadly the thing. And mainly the chemicals are, no, they are internationally parity price linked products. So we don't have our own pricing policy because imports are free and the custom duties are down in line with WTO requirements. So if you price your products higher, then people will import and you will have huge inventory. So you have to be a real global player even though you are selling it in India. So that is how the prices of chemicals are decided, and with China having large volume of every chemical that we produce, maybe it is caprolactam or melamine or nylon. So they dominate the pricing in the international market. So with a large economies of scale and other benefits they have in their country, they build it in the price. So there is hardly any windfall gain in the chemicals, and barring maybe some occurrence like COVID that happened last year, it went up the price substantially. Otherwise, it is a quite a kind of commodity kind of cycle. So there is a steady state. Sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down. But chemicals bring 10 to 15% margin, and fertilizers, as you know, are highly controlled by government. So how do they look at protecting the farmers' interests? That decides the MRP and subsidy. So on an average 5% is a normal margin there.
All right. So for the coming quarters, right now we are looking at 20% or 18% margins. So for the coming quarters or for the coming years, a steady state of around 12 to 15% is a good number, or do you think that is that?
No, that is good number.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vipul Shah from Sumangal Investments. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. So what is our annual requirement of phosphoric acid? And phosphoric acid is mainly we are using for which production of which product, sir?
So phosphoric acid that we import are used at Sikka unit hour, where DAP and NPK products are made. So if we run the plant at normal capacity, we produce 7 to 8 lakh tons of DAP and NPK fertilizers, and that requires 3 to 4 lakh tons of phosphoric acid per year.
So previously, I think we had a joint venture, no, with Coromandel for procurement of phosphoric acid.
Yeah, that is there at Tunisia, Typhoid. It provides some support for phosphoric acid supply, but their production is
from that venture, how much quantity we get?
That is that the plant is for 3,60,000 metric tons. So we are supposed to get 50%, that is 1,80,000 metric tons. But that plant is having some social unrest in the country. So it is running at some 30-40% only right now. So we are trying to revive it and bring it to 70-80%, but it will take some time. So we get some support, maybe 40,000, 50,000 tons acid we get from there. But there is no price advantage there. It is only supply assurance.
Oh, so we get only market price?
Yeah, we pay market price only for that phosphoric acid.
Okay. And sir, means when I search our website, we don't have any transcripts of our previous calls or any this volume data which you have put for this quarter. So for previous quarter, I don't find any data. So why don't we keep the transcript of all calls which were previously done on our website, and this volume data plus we should have also have a presentation with the result every quarter, like all good companies are doing. So these are few suggestions if you can act upon it.
Yes, definitely.
So okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone wishing to ask a question, may please press star and 1. The next question is on the line of Anurag Patil from Roha Asset Managers. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, how is the demand scenario for the caprolactam currently?
No, it is good. There is no problem in demand. Sometimes, as I said, it fluctuates between quarter to quarter due to one reason or the other. Otherwise, all our plants are having capacities which are much smaller compared to Indian requirements. So, apart from what we produce, a lot of imports takes place in India. So, with good quality materials provided by us, so all our customers prefer to buy from us at the first instance, and balance quantity they try to import. So, there is no question of any demand destruction or demand falling suddenly, and we have a lot of inventory. Those situations hardly arises.
Okay. And sir, what was the caprolactam benzene spread in Q1 and what is it currently?
So around some $950, and as I said, it is improving from say August. It will go above $1,000, I think, in August.
Sorry, sir, what was the Q1 average, Q1 FY23?
Yeah, I said no, Q1 is $950, around $950. And it is likely to increase from July was not so high, but August at least it will improve.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. That's it from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jatin Dabania from Kotak Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. Sir, initially you stated that you have taken a shutdown in the urea plant due to the equipment failure. So when can we expect this plant to be operational?
Yeah, it was from some 12-15 days. So maybe in this week or maybe in early August it will be operational. Not a major thing.
And sir, you said there were few other plants were also shut in the last quarter. So can you state, which were the plants which were shut other than the methanol?
No, that I said about last year quarter 1. So there were some fertilizer and chemical plants were having normal shutdown. So because of that, production last year was less. So if you see the volume data uploaded by us, some like urea and all production are higher in this quarter as compared to last year. Because last year they were having shutdown, normal shutdown.
So sir, in terms of methanol, now since because of the increase in the gas prices, the unit is not remunerative for us. But at what level we will revisit to think that we can start the plant again? At what break-even point?
No, right now gas prices are prohibitive, so unthinkable to start methanol because spot gas prices are above 120 rupees per SM cube or 130 rupees per SM cube. Sales for 40 rupees per, kg or 40,000, 40,000 per ton. So there's a huge difference of maybe 1 lakh rupees shortfall compared to, negative gap between revenue and the cost, we can say. Negative spread of 1 lakh rupees per ton.
All right. So in terms of the expansion that you mentioned about sulfuric acid plant, ammonium sulfate, solar power plant of 15 megawatt, what is the capex that we are incurring for that?
Solar is about 85 crore and sulfuric acid plant is about 250 crore and ammonium sulfate is 110 crore and HX crystal is 100 crore.
So, okay. So we are almost spending near 500 odd crores.
Yeah.
Around for the expansion. And the incremental revenue that we will be generating will be in the range of 400 to 500 crores. That's only through an ammonium sulfate, right?
Mainly through ammonium sulfate. Yes.
So on the asset turnover, it will be 1-on-1. But sir, what additional incremental benefit that we can get from sulfuric acid? Can you basically highlight what will be the improvement in the operating efficiency and in margin once the sulfuric acid get commissioned?
Yeah, so we are the largest buyer of sulfur in the country, the fertilizer industry. So we have the most fertilizer based on sulfur. No company is having sulfur-based so much variety of fertilizer. So with this kind of sense, we get the sulfur at the cheapest cost in the country.
Right.
Make sulfuric acid out of that cheap sulfur, and that sulfuric acid goes in ammonium sulfate, so it improves our profitability much compared to others. And ammonium sulfate is made by FACT and GSFC only in India.
Right.
So there are no much suppliers and there is no fertilizer subsidy on the imported ammonium sulfate. So we are the two suppliers who service all India basis. So with this kind of good costing, ammonium sulfate gives us a good margin.
Okay. So sir, okay. Thanks for the elaborate answers. So one last question, as you said that we would see a better volumes in terms of second quarter and third quarter. So that will be driven by the chemical segment, or we have some room to increase the production in fertilizer as also?
No, this good quarter, good volume mainly will be in the fertilizer. But overall for the year we don't see much volume growth because of the Sika production fluctuation. So
for the full
is good from rainy season itself.
Okay, so for the full year FY23, our volume will be flat as compared to FY22, but because of the higher subsidy and higher realization, our revenue will grow at 25%.
Yes.
Is it?
Correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Pratham Shah from Sanctum Wealth. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I had a question that last quarter you had given a guidance of revenue top line growth of around 20 to 25% and margins to be 5 to 10% in the fertilizer segment. Is that yet on track?
Yeah, but growth, as you saw in the first quarter, turnover is much more than 25%. But of course, on yearly basis, we believe that 25% on overall basis in turnover will be definitely there, and with margin percentage what you repeated, yeah, we believe that should be maintained.
So you think you will maintain it, you're not increasing the guidance or anything?
No, right now because it is too early. and the government has declared this subsidy up to September end. So maybe 1 or 2 months they will take up the review of whether to continue this kind of subsidy from 1st October or to reduce. So that will affect my revenue and margin.
So for next quarter, the subsidy will yet be there, no?
Yeah, this will be there. That is a notification, subsidy notification mentions the period up to 30th September 22. So till then there is no change.
Okay. Also, how do you plan to counter the increase in gas prices, or you have to take the market price?
No, we have a long-term tie-up for gas, so we are not so much affected. But spot prices are very high, so those who don't have long-term tie-up, they are badly impacted. But fortunately, as I said about sulfur, so for natural gas, we are the first user of natural gas in the country in the fertilizer sector. So we understand natural gas from 1966. So nobody has so much knowledge in this field which GSFC has. So we have that advantage, and taking that long experience, we have some good tie-up for gas supplies, and that helps in keeping the gas cost low compared to others.
Okay, thank you. That's great. So basically, you'll have fixed prices, no, for gas price and for some amount of cost.
No, prices are not fixed, but we have a good formula for pricing, which are not available now. So the only more advantage, along with a good volume of natural gas that we buy, that helps us in better negotiation and better contracts.
Okay. Also, the urea compliance by the government for the urea plant, for one plant last time you had said there is some debottlenecking compliance from the government. Is that done?
Yeah, so we are requesting government to help us, because that urea plant revamping to meet new energy norms, that capex is more than 400 crores. So we are requesting that some support should be there, because government is taking away the advantage of lower energy in form of lower subsidy, and then asking us to incur capex for which we will not have any advantage. So we are requesting that government should not take away both the things. At least one part should be kept with us. Either they provide us capex support, and then they take away the energy saving, or we spend on capex but allow us to keep energy saving with us. Either of this one should be done, which government will do something. They are thinking over on this.
So you think this request will be taken?
Yeah, I think government is sensitive, because we are saying that in 21-22, government spent highest price of imported urea to the tune of $1,000, while our urea hardly costs $400. So instead of foreign suppliers enjoying all the benefits of rising urea prices, but local manufacturers are given all these challenges of reducing energy and spending 400 crore capex, and so this is not fair. So to encourage local urea manufacturers, some support should be there, instead of giving all the huge subsidy to the urea exporter to India. Some cushion for Indian manufacturers should be there, which government believes that yes, something should be done. So let us hope some support comes.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for answering the question. Good luck.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our last question. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Nanavati for his closing comments.
Yeah, thanks everybody for analyzing our result in detail and suggesting some good steps for investor communication and enlightenment. So we will request Company Secretary to preserve those archives in the investor section so that data about past periods are readily available, and Company Secretary will convey your feelings about higher dividend to the board next time. So that is well taken. Otherwise, as we discussed, GSFC story remains intact, and this company will keep on growing, and all the more under the Atmanirbhar initiative of Government of India. We will be doing all the support that we can do, of course subject to viability of new projects that you can take for sure. No compulsions from any sector about undertaking any unviable project, so that is for sure. So we have a good pipeline of projects that will unfold as and when the time matures. And as I said earlier, we have a good tract of land at Dahej, so the next phase of development will come in Dahej as well as in Sikka, and it will be almost like a Baroda unit replication over a period of time. So company will keep growing. Thank you for all the efforts, and looking forward to see you after the Q2 results. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of GSFC, that concludes this conference call. We thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.